It's crazy to think that 2025 is already over, and you might not want to hear this, but 2026 is going to go by just as fast. If you've decided that this is the year to shoot your shot, don't wait to get started. January is going to be gone before you know it. Kick the year off strong and get to work on that business that you thought about launching all of last year. You'll be glad you did 10 months from now. And if you're intimidated by the idea of getting a business off the ground, let Shopify pick you up and help you launch the store you've been dreaming of. Shopify is a bona fide franchise player for any business. They give you everything you need to sell online and in person. Hundreds of sick templates to get your website up and running. AI tools to help with product descriptions, titles, and more. Shopify has marketing covered with their easy-to-use email and social media campaigns. You can sell, handle orders, expand to new markets, and so much more, all via Shopify. Millions of entrepreneurs have taken the Shopify leap, from small businesses and startups to juggernauts like Mattel and Gymshark. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/RTG. Go to shopify.com/RTG. That's shopify.com/RTG. Hear your first this new year with Shopify by your side. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Black. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 363. And we are finally dipping our filthy toes into the Assassin's Creed waters and talking the first of many, many games in this series with the original ass Creed. I have had so many requests for us to start covering the Assassin's Creed games on the show over the years. And I honestly don't really know why it took this long to finally get to one. Like, I have nothing, like, sure, we make fun of Ubisoft a lot, especially on Game Patch, deservedly so. They're screwballs. But I've never had anything against the Assassin's Creed games. I don't know. I played the very first one, the one we're reviewing today. I played it a little bit back in its era, in its prime, and I thought jumping off high stuff into hay was very awesome, but the gameplay loop kind of wore out its welcome with me. I put it down, and I just never came back to the series, and always just kind of assumed they were like Madden or COD, and they were just kind of shovelware. They're out or not shovelware, but like they're out every year. It's the same thing, and apparently that's not necessarily the case, and I don't know. I finally fired the first Assassin's Creed up again. I've been playing it a lot over the last couple of weeks, and a lot to say about it. I will say for everyone, and there's a lot of you that reached out to me and said, dude, don't even bother with Assassin's Creed 1. You're going to hate it. Skip to Assassin's Creed 2. I understand why you all told me that now, but I'm glad I played Assassin's Creed 1 because I think it'd be a lot harder to go back to playing the OG after playing some of the future entries in the series, and now I know where it started. I know the skeleton that is Assassin's Creed 1. You can't tell how much a series has improved if you've never played the original game in the franchise first, right? So joining me to geek out all over Assassin's Creed this week is my buddy Andre, probably the biggest Assassin's Creed fan I know. We are spoiling this game, but I did warn him to watch his damned mouth when it comes to spoilers of future games, because I assure you, friends, this is not going to be the last Assassin's Creed episode you'll ever get of Remember the Game. I talk about that a little bit in the game review we get into today. So I kind of worked through my highs and lows of my first time assassinating Creed. Andre did everything in his power to convince me that the wrinkles get ironed out in future games, which I believe. And we'll get into all that in just a couple of minutes, because speaking of trying to convince someone things will get better, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. Consider this your warning. Listen, our intros are kind of long. They're not that long. They're kind of long, but they're fun. We talk video games and stuff. And there is 1,000% less backtracking in our infamous intros than there is in Assassin's Creed, buddy. Holy fuck. Why? I'm sorry I'm spoiling this point of the review, but why is it that I can fast travel once I get to that like crossroads in the open world, but I have to run through that opening village every fucking time? I'm spoiling it, but why did they... Ah, damn it. Anyways, yeah, if you hate our intros, I get it. Just skip, go about 30-minute mark on your little slider. You should be into Assassin's Creed Talk. You're golden. Or listen to the whole thing. See why we talk about video games and stuff, and see why they're infamous, but a lot of people don't hate them. It's nice. It's fun. They're good times. Let me get my plugs out of the way quickly. I got to do it right now. It's how we keep the bills on around here. We have a Patreon. You can find it at patreon.com/rememberthegame. And we're not one of those Patreons. It's like we're not really going to give you anything in exchange for your money. We're just hoping you'll throw us a couple of bucks, so we can eat and all that kind of shit. If anything, I'm going to give you too much stuff in exchange for your money. Most weeks, we publish 4 additional podcasts. The last week of every month now, there aren't any because I need time to get caught up. But in exchange for that, you're going to get some exclusive Patreon live streams, gameplay, and come by and shoot the shit with me. But most weeks, we publish 4 additional shows every week. None of them have ads in them. And remember, the game is over there. The entire 363-episode catalog, all without ads and time-stamped as well. That starts for as little as $3 a month. And not only do you get a ton of extra podcasts, but you can write into the show. You can vote on the games we cover. February is a great month to be voting because we run our pre-March Madness Patreon poll tournament extravaganza, which is 64 games whittled down to a champion all through the month of February. Patrons vote every day on that. It's a really good time. We have an almost 1,400 member Discord you can join. You get instant access to hundreds and hundreds of archive bonus podcasts. Like I said, you'll get access to exclusive Patreon streams Monday through Friday. And most importantly, you get a shout out and get to hear me mispronounce your name. Like I actually think I'm going to get all these. I think I'm going to nail all these. But a huge thank you to our newest Patreons on Broken Wings, Jiggy Wampus, JC, Dude Milk, that's my favorite milk, Trey Owen, Josh, and Peter Smith. Thank you all so much for the support, and welcome to Remember the Game Industries, patreon.com/rememberthegame. There's some free episodes over there for you to give it a shot if you want to see how Patreon works. Subscriptions start at $3 a month, and if you sign up for a full year, we'll give you the 12th month on the house. That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is the opening segment of our show. Every week I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always. And we do in fact call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is Smear the Cheese, who said, "Hey, Adam, at the beginning of December, I was hospitalized for 4 days. During my stay, my kids brought me our Switch Lite with the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. I was wondering, what would your get well soon game be? As much as I love Crash, I had to put it down at times because I was getting angry with the later levels. Getting stressed out by a game when you're in the hospital is not a great mix." It is not. Smear the Cheese. I hope you're feeling better, and I hope you didn't have to go into the hospital because of some form of cheese-related incident. I love Crash Bandicoot as much as the next person, but I agree, not the most relaxing. Those games make me fucking insane. Insane Trilogy, but I love Crash. I've been wanting to replay Crash 4 for quite a while now. Maybe I'll start. Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, my go-to, admittedly, I've never played the Switch while I've been in the hospital, but my go-to relaxation game on anything, but particularly on my Switch, it's not going to be it's not Mario Kart, it's not Tetris, it's not Mega Man, it's not Mario, it's Picross. And I'm going to recommend it to everybody. If you've never played a Picross game, dude, you can get tons of, there's a couple of them on Nintendo Switch Online, and you can buy them off the eShop, usually for like $4 or $5 a piece. They come with tons of puzzles, and all they are just these like grid puzzles. And you just have to figure out what blocks need to be colored in. And by the time you're done solving the puzzle, you've drawn a picture, like a pixel picture. And it's my go-to relaxation game. I have it on my phone as well. I love Picross. So check it out. Picross. And I hope you're feeling better and you're home and well. Smear the Cheese. Jameer Williams said, "Mr. Blank, what it do, my northern brother? How are you?" I don't know why that fucked me up so hard. What it do, my northern brother? How are you? Okay, bro. You got $50 and you're in the holy grail spots of video games. You can buy one console, one handheld device game, and an accessory to go in the system of your choice. What are you picking and why? Now, Jameer, I like your question, but I was confused. Like, do I have to stay within my $50 budget? I'm going to assume I do, because otherwise, why would you tell me I have $50? So if you were to send me to a retro game store right now with $50, I would buy Wall Street Kid for the NES, because that's one that I've really wanted to add to my collection for quite a long time, even though it sucks. I would buy a copy of Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins for the Game Boy because it's one of my favorite Game Boy games. I would rather buy a Pokemon game, but I only have $50, so I don't have enough money. And I think based on price charting, that should leave me about enough money to get some batteries for my Game Boy, and I'm broke. So I'm assuming I had to stay within the $50 parameter. If I did have to stay within the $50 parameter, if I could just buy one console game, a handheld game, and an accessory, then I'm going to buy a copy of Earthbound because I never should have fucking sold mine. I'm going to buy for a handheld. You know what? I'm going to get a copy of Pokemon Blue because that's my favorite. That's my OG. And then for an accessory to go with the system of your choice, I will get... Is there a single accessory out there that... Oh, a Super Game Boy for my SNES. That's the accessory. I was like, is there any accessories I like? But Super Game Boy. I got to get a Super Game Boy. I don't need Game Boy games, so I got to... One step at a time. On Broken Wings wrote in and said, what's your favorite movie-tied video game from the Xbox 360, PS3 era, or before? Mine is Toy Story 3. The Toy Box mode is extremely nostalgic and brings back the best memories of my young childhood. I've actually heard that Toy Story 3 is very good. My favorite movie-tied video game from 360, PS3 era, or before? Probably Spider-Man 2. Did any of you play Spider-Man 2? Some of you did. Like the movie tie-in game. Like, we all love the modern Marvel Spider-Man games on PlayStation and the Batman Arkham cities. But Spider-Man 2 on the Xbox, I played it on Xbox, but on all those systems, that was very, very good. That was before those games. That was a very good game. I'd like to give that one the RTG treatment at some point. I got to pick up a copy to replay it, though, because I haven't played it in so long. But I loved that. I loved that fucking game. So I'm going to go Spider-Man 2. Big fan. Big fan. Ness, Paula, Jeff, and Pooh said, Dearest Mr. Blank, your PS1 draft got some friends and I talking about what console has the best library. We all agreed on the obvious choices, the Super Nintendo, the PS1, the PS2, but there was a lot of disagreement when I suggested the Xbox 360 belongs in the conversation. I don't think it beats any of those other ones, but I think it has a very solid library, especially if you include live arcade games. Its only real weakness is JRPGs. My friends don't think Xbox live arcade games should count and that its library is too heavy on shooters and action games. Can you settle this matter for us? P.S. I love the show. Keep up the great work. Well, that's suck it up, but I appreciate that nonetheless. I mean, it's hard for me to be biased with this because I'm a huge Xbox 360 fan. I've said that before. Quite probably my favorite non-Nintendo console of all time. Although the PS5, I really like my PS5. But I love the Xbox 360. Absolutely, Xbox Live Arcade games count. Who among us, dear friends, who among us that grew up playing with an Xbox 360 doesn't have at least one memory of an Xbox Live Arcade game? Like Castle Crashers, Explosion Man, Super Meat Boy, Shadow Complex. The list goes on and on and on. Whatever ones I name, it goes on and on and on and on. So they absolutely count. I'll hear that argument. I agree that the Xbox 360 can't touch the Super Nintendo. If I had to, or the PS1 or the PS2. And then I think like, by today's standards, it's getting so hard because now there's so many indie games and stuff like that. But back then, like when indie games were somewhat exclusive and Xbox Live Arcade was like its own thing, I agree. Xbox Live Arcade was fucking massive. So my unofficial top 5 libraries, yeah, SNES, PS1, PS2, I'd probably go 360, and then I'll go Genesis. And I know the PS3 is as deep as 360, but I didn't play a lot of PS3. I love the 360. So, but yeah, 360 belong. If the Super Nintendo, the PS1, and the PS2 belong in that like S tier, then I think A tier should be the 360, the Genesis, and probably the PS3 would probably be the A tier right below that. Grizzly Bear Fight Squad said, hey, Mr. Blake, did you happen to see that in the new Resident Evil Requiem game, the zombies will retain memories from when they were alive? One of the zombies in the hotel is a custodian, and you can see they're still cleaning. What are your thoughts on this? Does it take away from the horror of the game, or is it a fun new aspect? I did not see that. I'm not dunking on you for spoiling Grizzly Bear, but I didn't see it. Because now that, like, once I decide I'm playing a game, which Resident Evil Requiem I'm fucking playing, I just stop watching content on it. Because I'm like, I don't want to know anything else. I'm fine. I'll learn as I go. That said, no, I think that's pretty rad. I don't have a problem with that. Like, there's only so much you can do with zombies just doing the thing where they walk around and don't do anything and mumble. Like, give them a little bit of personality. I don't have a problem with that. That doesn't bother me at all. Plus, it's nice to know that the people have been doing something to keep themselves busy after they got blown up instead of just crawling around moaning or whatever it is zombies do. Brian Dice says, are there any games that you keep going back to because they give you comfort, peace, or happiness by just being in the world? Bonus points if it's Mass Effect. Uh, it isn't. Mass Effect is a good answer, but it's just too long. It's too like I never go back to it because I know I can't handle that many hours in that fucking game. Just for being, because I was like, Mario and Mega Man are my comfort food games, but just to be in that world, I would say Minecraft, because I love that chill music and just the animals and everything. I know this is gonna sound hella lame, but EA Sports PGA Tour, because I love playing golf and watching golf other than actually physically playing golf, which I suck at. So when I'm playing video game golf and I'm out there on the course and it's nice and quiet, the birds are chirping, bees are trying to have sex with them, as is my understanding. Shout out to who gets that reference. That I love that. So EA Sports PGA Tour or Minecraft or probably Mass Effect would be there. Because I could just hang out on the ship and talk to my teammates, my crewmates, and it's fucking awesome. So, man, Mass Effect is so good. I love those games. Also, Skyrim. Once you're like late in a file, like I have my file on my Switch that I still play every once in a great while, and I'm basically a god. And I don't even know what's going on in the story, but I can just walk around and fucking loot and plumage. What's the word I'm looking for now? Not pilgrimage. Fuck me. I can't believe I'm playing. And I'm not going to edit this out. What is it called? Loot and plunder. That's what word I was looking for. Loot and plunder. Don't smoke weed, kids. Loot and plunder. So I like playing Skyrim because I like being a god in that world. Ren10 the Savage said, "Hey, Mr. Blank, I was curious if you prefer playing one game at a time or you don't mind playing multiple. For the longest time, I always tried to stick to one game period because of my infamous backlog, it's so tough just playing one. There's so many options, and while I'm a bit overwhelmed by the scale of my backlog, I've managed to play multiple titles at once while understanding the gameplay and the story." Dude, obviously for the show, like I tell you guys what I'm playing every week. I'm usually playing 5 or 6 games at a time. But even if I wasn't doing RTG, I'm not a one. I'm a swinger. I'm a swinger when it comes to my video games. I'm at least a 3 or 4 game. I'll play 2 or 3 games in a session, and that's part of the reason I don't play online with people. I appreciate all the people that are like, yo, if you ever want to hop into Arc Raiders or COD or whatever the fuck. But that's part of the reason I don't play online, because like I'll sit down in a 2-hour gaming session. I'll sit down and I'll fire up Arc Raiders and I'll do 1 or 2 runs and I'll be like, that was a good time. And then I'll shut it down and switch over to Silent Hill and play that for half an hour till something scares me. Then I'll shut that down and then I'll flip over to like Oblivion and just walk around like an asshole for 45 minutes. Like I am constantly switching games. My only unofficial rule of thumb is I try not to play 2 games that are the same. Like I need to play Metroid Prime 2 to get ready for an upcoming episode of RTG because that won a Patreon poll a couple months ago, but I was not going to play it while I was also playing Metroid Prime 4. So I was like, I'm going to get Prime 4 done, then I'll go to 2 because I try to play both. It's like when I was playing Ghost of Yotei. What else was I playing? There was something else I was playing while I was playing Yotei and the controls were fucking me. Maybe it was Assassin's Creed. I don't remember, but like I can't play like 2 third-person action games like that. The controls mess me up. I can't play 2 of the same shooters at once. So I do have 4 or 5 games going on at any given time, but very rarely are there 2 that are like too similar to each other. Because otherwise, trying to master those controls, you're fucked. You are fucked. And then finally, before we move on, it's letter time. Chaz Waza wrote in and said, "Happy New Year, Mr. B. With Nintendo Switch 2's down 35% in sales recently, I got to thinking of how the big N." I was just saying on Game Patch yesterday, like, I call Nintendo the big N sometimes too, and I always feel like I'm saying something on the cusp of, like, wrong. And I don't know why. It's like, it's the big N. It means nothing. It just means Nintendo, but I don't feel comfortable saying it sometimes. I don't know. Maybe it's a me problem. Anyways, I got to thinking about how the big N will hook new adopters to the system, which brought me to the DS library. How do you think Nintendo's going to tackle this? Do you think they release a clamshell peripheral, as has been rumored? Personally, I think they'd be better off leveraging everyone's smartphones and tablets and releasing an app, and probably a higher Nintendo Switch Online tier that turns the other device into a touchscreen. What say you? Fuck, that's a good, that's something we've talked about on my streams and stuff before too, like, because now we've got GameCube on Nintendo Switch Online, we've got Virtual Boy coming right away. I personally think, so what do we got? NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo 64, GameCube, and Virtual Boy is coming right away. I think Dreamcast is the next system to join Nintendo Switch Online. And I do think that we're not doing a predictions episode this year, but if I was to make a prediction about Nintendo Switch Online, it would be that Dreamcast joins it. Maybe not this year, but That'll be like when they start running out of GameCube games they want to add or something. I think Dreamcast will be the next thing they add to that tier. But we've been talking about that before. Like DS and 3DS games are fucking lost to like just time right now, because unless you want to go and buy, like the eShop on the 3DS is shut down. So you can't buy them there unless you want to go buy physically or emulate. And the prices of 3DSs themselves are going up because I don't know why. It's not like it's a rare system. It's like one of the best-selling systems of all time. There's billions of them, but for some reason the price is going up. I would love to see them add it to Nintendo Switch Online. I'm going to remove 3DS from the equation because obviously the Switch doesn't have the 3D. And for the record, I don't think not having 3D would stop them, because you could play I can't see 3D because of my bad eye. I played tons of games on my 3DS and enjoyed it. So like, I don't think the 3D is necessary. But if you take that out of the equation for now and you just say the DS, if the two options are optional peripheral to attach to your Switch or being able to use your smartphone like you suggested, I think the smartphone thing would be more consumer friendly. But as the Virtual Boy release that they have coming up proved, if Nintendo can sell you another controller or another peripheral to play a bunch of their old games, they're going to fucking do it. So I don't see any way Nintendo puts DS games on the Switch 2 without suckering you into paying for some kind of additional screen that you attach to the bottom. Which, for the record, like outside of having to pay for it, I would actually prefer to using my phone anyways. Yeah, I think if we ever get DS games, you'll have to buy. You can't play the Virtual Boy without buying one of their like optional Virtual Boy screens, and you're not gonna be able to play DS games without buying a DS screen. And I think that probably happens sometime. But I think we get Dreamcast games by the end of 2027, and then DS comes after that. That's my prediction. And I hope I'm right, because I'd like to get access to more Dreamcast games, please. Okay, that's enough. Or no, wait. As I'm always saying, that's not blowing myself. Let's blow some of you. I've blown enough. I am not blowing anybody else today. You've all been blown. Let's thank you for all the comments, everybody. That's what I'm trying to say. Jesus Christ. Let's switch things up and get to our Smash Hit segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. Play one, remake one, erase one. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week, I give our patrons 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. As always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. I'll tell you what that is in just a second. This week, we're talking Assassin's Creed, so I went with 3 Ubisoft games. We've got Far Cry 3, Watch Dogs, and Splinter Cell, and a whopping 44% of you said you'd play Far Cry 3, remake Splinter Cell, and erase Watch Dogs. So let's see what a few of you had to say here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer was. I hate when there's over 40% on one, because that means I didn't do a very good job. I like it when it's lots of comments. But the voting obviously went one way, and I like it when everybody fights over what the right vote is. It's Yeet or Get Yeetin. I love that name. Said play Far Cry 3 since it's still one of my favorites. Remake Splinter Cell and erase Watch Dogs because I'd rather get captured by a lunatic on a random island than play that game again. Is it that? I've never played Watch Dogs. Is it that bad? It looks neat. I don't like dogs. I have a watch. Meat, Guts, and Magic said, okay, Far Cry 3 is arguably the best in the series, and don't forget the awesome spin-off game, Blood Dragon. Remake Watch Dogs because it has good bones and just needed to be fleshed out more, and maybe change the voice actors so it doesn't sound like a low-rent Solid Snake. And with that, we bid a fine farewell to Splinter Cell. Not a bad game in the least, but in the end, I found it forgettable. What was I talking about? I guess that's it. I see what you did there, Magic. Homebed Now said play Watch Dogs. It is a spectacular game, especially the first one. Great gameplay, great story, and it felt like an incredibly fresh take on an open world game at the time of release. So not everybody hates Watch Dogs. Okay. Remake Splinter Cells. I love the series, but have not got around to playing this one as I dropped off after Chaos Theory. Maybe just remake it so it feels more modern, as sometimes going to a retro game you didn't play when it came out can be hard. And then erase Far Cry 3. Those games have never made an impression on me. I wouldn't care if it vanished. Wow. There's a lot of Far Cry 3 fans, so that's home bed now. You might want to stay at home in bed now, because the Far Cry 3 fans are a vocal bunch, and based on the games they play, they're capable of violence, so watch your ass. Game Genie US said I play Splinter Cell because I always really enjoyed them. I can never get past the fact that you had the green light on your black, but that was never seen, though. That's true. That is true. That fucking bothers me too. I'd remake Far Cry 3 and take away the take a tower to uncover a new section of the map because that mechanic is boring and played out. I did enjoy skinning animals to make useful items and the crazy ass bad guy. We needed to not... I'm not going to read that part because I don't want to ruin anything. And then I'd erase Watch Dogs because it's basically GTA with a cell phone, and I can't stand GTA games at all. Man, this Watch Dogs. I got to play Watch Dogs. I got to see what everyone's... Why is Watch Dogs so controversial? I got to see myself. Alex Ramos said, play Far Cry 3 because the game still plays great, and honestly, it's probably the best Far Cry in the series. Remake Splinter Cell because I've never played it and would probably do with some modernization. And because I have to, erase Watch Dogs for the disgrace that it is. That game deserves to go into double secret probation for eternity. Wow. A lot of people throwing shade at Watch Dogs. That's crazy. But a lot of you weren't right. I'm going with a paltry 10% of you voted the same way I did, got the right answer, as did Charlie Guadino, who said, let's get this out of the way. Ubisoft refuses to acknowledge Splinter Cell anymore. These games are stuck in old hardware hell and are in need of a remaster, but as long as they don't care, then they don't deserve the services of Sam Fisher. Get them out of here. Watch Dogs was cool and an underappreciated game, but it can stay as it is. If Far Cry 3 needs a remake simply because it's damn near perfect, but the controls are kind of showing their age. Different reasoning, same order for me. I'm going to play Watch Dogs. I know that a lot of you are being like, Watch Dogs is a piece of shit. It's garbage, but I need to see. Because a lot of people say that about Assassin's Creed too. And I guess I'm spoiling a little bit of the review. Well, I didn't love the first Assassin's Creed. It wasn't a piece of shit. I didn't hate it. So I need to play Watch Dogs. I'm going to see what it is for myself. So I'll play Watch Dogs. Plus I've played the other two. So I usually play the one I haven't. I'm going to remake Far Cry 3. And I don't need to do too much to it, but I just want to make it look as like sexy as possible. And like not like just... Take Far Cry 3 and just drop it into the most incredible graphics engine you can come up with and just make it look like mwah. And then I'm going to erase Splinter Cell. Go back and listen to the RTG about it. I hate it. I hate stealth games. I hate stealth games. And Splinter Cell, you are something that I hate. So I'm never playing it again. Erase it. Fucking stealth games. Thank you, everybody that wrote in as always. What have I been playing this week? And then we're into Assassin's Creed. I've been playing Silent Hill F. It's pretty good. Creep me the fuck out to begin with, but I'm getting it now. It's pretty good. Dude, I'm playing Bionic Commando for the NES, which, spoiler, is going to be Remember the Game 364 in a couple of weeks. My buddy David Ray has been on me to play that one on the NES forever, and I finally have, and nothing... I love discovering new games from any platform, any genre. If it's a new game I like, I'm like, cool, I found a new game that I really like. But there's something about the NES in particular. Like, I adore discovering new NES games that I missed out on back in the day. This is one. Bionic Commando is fucking awesome. I spoiled in my review. Cannot wait to talk about that game. I've also started playing Metroid Prime 2 Echoes because that won our Patreon poll in November. We'll be reviewing that in February as well. I'll save my thoughts on that. I'm still chipping away at Oblivion because that won our Patreon poll in December, and that episode's coming someday when I'm finally done. And then for like the 357th time, I've started a run on Cyberpunk, playing it on my Switch too. Plays great on there, and who knows if I'll finally finish it this time. But it's that's my time wasting game. When I don't feel like working on anything, I work on Cyberpunk. So there you go. That's what I've been, and then I play sports games and stuff. But that's most of it. Yeah. Okay. Here's what we'll do. We'll let a sponsor in here. They'll do their thing, and when we get back, it's Assassin's Creed. I know that's what you want. I'll give it to you in just a second. Okay. Remember the game. We'll return after these messages.
Have you experienced the awesome power of the Panasonic Real 3DO system? Obviously. The intense realism of Panasonic Real 3DO. Apparently. Or the mind-blowing graphics of Panasonic Real 3DO. Definitely. Cool. The Real 3DO system from Panasonic.
All right, let's talk some Assassin's Creed. I know that's why you're here. In less than 2 days, we had almost 80 comments on this one. A lot of you have been waiting to sound off on Assassin's Creed, so I'm going to rip through as many of these as I can, as quickly as I can. Couldn't get to all of them. Getting to a bunch of them. Casey Jones Jockstrap said, this was the first one I ever played at a friend's house after school. I loved it. The gameplay, the historical story tie-in concept that runs through the whole series is super cool to me as well. This is definitely my least favorite of the franchise, but you have to start somewhere. And see, yes, I agree. I only played this first one, and I'm like, I'm going to play more of these, but I'm safe to assume this is probably my least favorite. So I get it. 100%, I understand. Hollywood Waluigi said, I just hear the NWO music playing, and Hollywood Waluigi coming out with Wario, and fuck, who would be their third? I mean, Bowser seems like he makes sense, but I don't. Anyway, because Wario would be Hogan, Waluigi would be... Yeah, Waluigi can be Scott Hall, and then we'll make Bowser Kevin Nash. That would work for the Nintendo World Order, the NWO. Where was I here? Hollywood Waluigi says, this was really the first real looking game I remember playing. As fun as it was clear they wanted to go even bigger like its sequel, but use this as a proof of concept. I replayed Assassin's Creed 1 a few years ago, and I enjoyed how simple it is, and I think it holds up incredibly well. It's probably the only Assassin's Creed game I would play today. Wow. Why is that? Everyone's telling me they get better, and you're saying this is the only one you want to play. That fascinating. Waluigi, you're a fascinating individual. Johnny from Virginia says, this game blew my mind clear off. I never learned so much about a culture in a video game in all my life, and I love the mechanics of sneaking around, parkouring, about assassinating people. I haven't played a modern Assassin's Creed in ages, but I thought this was the greatest thing ever at the time. And I think there's something to be remembered with this, and like everything we say in this review, and I think we bring it up in the review as well. This game was 2007, right? Like this is like early PS3. So it's very easy to look at a game from 2 generations ago and be like, man, it's so much better now. But like the first one always deserves, I think the first game in any franchise, especially once you're looking back on them like years down the line, I think the first one in any franchise deserves a little bit of leeway. Donnie the Dude Walter said, this is the only Assassin's Creed I ever played, but it was the one that sucked me back into gaming. Fond memories of this one. I love hearing people's stories of the game that brought them back. I always talk about Gears of War for me. I like hearing that stuff from people. Fallen Spirit 1986 said, this game is the epitome of a good idea done better the second time around. The actual assassination missions are fun. However, the same 5 side missions you have to do between each main mission becomes a terrible slog. All of that was fixed in the sequel. Also, Ezio is a way cooler pro-tag. Pro-tag, you kids in your slang. I do agree. Same 5 side missions fucking run their course. Agreed. Mike is in Mike said, oh, take me back. The 360 days Assassin's Creed. For me, I hadn't played a game like this before. Modern future storyline with all the main storyline of the past. What a great concept on how they brought it all together. Amazing graphics for the time, pushing the 360. The historical settings, the historical characters you meet. Epic. I remember taking a gamble and not only pre-ordering it, but pre-ordering the collector's edition. It came with a small Altair figure that I would put in my Christmas trees for years to come as an ornament. Because nothing says the holidays like a fucking immature assassin. I agree. That's what the holidays are all about, Mike. And Purple Yeti Pack said, big fan, but first comment. This is the slow start to such an amazingly rich franchise into historic moments and eras. There's great writing in most of the games, but every single eagle point, spin around, and then leap off of faith is peak gaming. Plus, word is they're going away from 60-hour RPGs now. However, Origins is breathtaking. Yeah, they got to they were super long, eh? I played this one for like 12 hours and was near the end, and I was like, perfect. That's the sweet spot. 60 hours. Get the fuck out of here. Anyways, I have a lot to say about this one. My buddy Andre has a lot to say about this one and about future ones as he tries to convince me not to walk away from the franchise, which I'm not going to. It's fine. Don't worry about it, okay? Spoilers. Not that there's that much to spoil, but we are spoiling some stuff. It's time to talk Assassin's Creed with my boy Andre. I'm going to cue up some music. And when it stops, we're going to take you back to November 13th of 2007 and talk Assassin's Creed for the PS3 and the Xbox 360. Enjoy the episode, everybody. Let's go. All right, joining me via the blank phone today to talk a little I gotta call it Ass Creed at least once. For the rest of the show, we will refer to it as AC, Ass Creed, Assassin's Creed, everything plays. It is the assassin to my creed, my buddy Andre. Andre, you have been climbing up my ass to talk Assassin's Creed on this show for the better part of the last 7 years. So we're here. We made it. How you doing? Are you ready to talk some Assassin's Creed?
Oh yes, I am. Now that we've gone through all the GTA games. Now I need another franchise I can be coming on here to talk about. So
yes, yeah. Well, I'm officially tapping you in for this. It's like, okay, here's the thing. Listen, I've been thinking about how I want to approach this. Like, I think, especially over the last 3 or 4 years, I think Ubisoft and to an extent Assassin's Creed, but mostly like Ubisoft as a whole has really become kind of a punchline. And a bit of a joke in the world of gaming, like, and they've brought a lot of that on themselves. And I don't cry a lot at night for Ubisoft and the fucking mess that they've made. But Assassin's Creed is obviously one of, if not their biggest franchise. And it's whether you listen to this and you're like, I like Assassin's Creed, I hate Assassin's Creed, I make fun of Assassin's Creed, whatever the fuck. I would argue one of the more notable gaming franchises of the last 20 years. You know, it's not Call of Duty, but it's there's probably not many gamers out there that don't at least know of the Assassin's Creed games. So
well, again, this is what 2008 ish.
This one's 07. Yeah.
This one's 07. Okay, 07. So that was a year after the PlayStation 3 comes out. Like, because that was at 06, I think. So like, this game's been around for 19 years, this franchise, but like a lot of games have come out in that 19 years,
dude. And I think that's part of why Assassin's Creed has become I hate to call it a punchline, but that is part of why it's become kind of the lull thing that it is because like it's not quite Madden annualized, but like I'm on the Wikipedia page for the Assassin's Creed franchise right now. And you got Assassin's Creed games in 07, 08, 09, 09 again, 10, 10 again, 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, 15, 15, 16, 17, 17. Like it is practically an annualized franchise, and it's impossible to make a game annualized and have it stay at a level of quality. And that is like Madden is like that, Call of Duty is like that, all these games are like that. And Assassin's Creed, not that I've played any of them after the first one yet, but I know it's not as cookie cutter as like right click save as Madden fucking comes across as some years or NHL and stuff like that. So like they obviously have multiple studios working on them and stuff, but like they've become a bit of a joke. The point I'm trying to make here, and I don't know how I got this site. I've had a lot of caffeine today, like a lot.
I'm mainlining caffeine right now.
I'm wired. The point I'm trying to make and not successfully doing here is that like this, I feel like this is too big of IP for us to have waited 363 episodes to finally to get one of. So for all of you alongside Andre that have been up my ass being like, when are we getting an Assassin's Creed episode? I'm sorry it took so long. And I also want to point out so many people, I can't tell you how many people were like, bro, don't play one. You're going to hate it. And then you're not going to play any more of them. Just go to 2. And I appreciate those comments. And I have to say, now that I've put 15 hours into Assassin's Creed 1, I kind of get it. Why people were like, don't play this one. Go to one of the future ones. That said, whenever that happens, like I have to play 1 to know why 2 is apparently so good.
Yeah. Again,
this
is a franchise that has, a lot of people say peaked at 4. A lot of, I don't agree with that. I think there's been greats throughout the entire run up until the last few years. Like I've played everything up to including the new game Shadows. But like it's I can understand you wanting to know the first one because again, the first one when I first played it, I loved it. I thought it was amazing, and again, of its time, 2007, those controls weren't as doesn't make you as angry as they do now. So
I played this back in the day too. Some of it I didn't finish it, but I remember playing this one back in the day, and I remember. And I got to be honest, like playing it now, my impressions of it are very similar to the impressions I had of it way back in the day when I bought it. I think the concept is very, very cool. I think that the gameplay is a little bit repetitive, and I think the parts where you're not in the past and you're in the present as Desmond are about as exciting as watching paint dry. And playing this one now for the first time in almost 20 years, and I didn't finish it, and I'll explain where I got. All 3 of those things stand. I really do think there's for all of you that are worried I'm never going to play another Assassin's Creed because Assassin's Creed 1 sucked and I don't want to play it anymore. Like, well, I didn't finish this one. I've been saying on the show, or I can't remember if I've said it on the show, but I've been telling people like, I don't know if there's ever been a game that has skyrocketed up my backlog faster than Assassin's Creed 2 because I love the skeleton of Assassin's Creed 1. I love the skeleton, but the body that is on that skeleton is in rough fucking shape, boy. Like it is tedious. It is repetitive. It controls weird. And it made me so frustrated by the end that I was like, I tapped out. Dude, there's 7 memory blocks in Assassin's Creed 1. And I was near the end of memory block 6. And I was like, well, I'm going to finish this. I'm going to see it through to the end. And then what happened was, I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place here a little bit, but like, as you know, in Assassin's Creed 1, you go to a town like Jerusalem or whatever, and then you talk to the travel agent from the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood or whatever. And whoever it is, that fucking those weirdos in the doorless shacks. And then they're like, go out and get some information on your assassination target and then come back, and then we'll give you a feather that you can use to mop up the blood after you kill the guy. And I was down to the very last assassination on memory block 6. Or I can't remember if there was more than one or whatever, but I had like one assassination in memory block 6. And I get there and you have to climb up the towers and synchronize with the birds to fucking make the side missions show up. Then you go to the side missions. And once you've done enough side missions, it gives you the thumbs up to go back to the travel agent to give you the feather to kill the target. Yeah. And the fucking side mission I had to do was one of those ones where you come across another assassin and they're like, oh, hey, I twisted my ankle. Can you go kill 5 people for me in 4 minutes? And it must have gone wrong for me like 5 times. And then, because what happens is those fucking, I know I'm going to sound like an insensitive prick here, but the fucking beggars and the crazy people won't stop bothering me. And I'm like, would you get out of my face? I don't have any money. I don't even have the option to give you money with these controls. I really just need to go kill that fucking guy in the next 90 seconds so I can go back and see the guy with the bad ankle so I can go back to the travel agent to get my fucking feather. That's all I need to do.
There was that is, fuck. And I'll say this to the entirety of the franchise. It's not as bad. I feel like they correct a bit of that in later ones, but there's still a lot of those missions where you have to go do something so you can get the main mission unlocked. I think that happens in every game of this type, no matter what the franchise is. It's just a trope in like the RPG genre, but the action adventure RPG, whatever this is, I don't even know anymore. But I don't either. But it's I find they don't make it as I find it's controls half the time in that world, because you're trying to get to things, but you can't get through certain things. And then when you try to do something, it shoots you off in the opposite direction. Well, and that does get fixed. That does get fixed.
And that's all I want. Like, because I agree with you. Like, is it repetitive? Yeah, it is. And if the future, but I'm going to be honest with everybody. Like, the sheer repetition of, because this game in particular is like, it is literally go to a town, climb the towers, look around, find the side missions, of which there are like either beat somebody up, pickpocket somebody, go and do 4 or 5 targets in a certain amount of time for somebody. Like, there's only 3 or 4 of these little things you can do, and then go back, get your target, kill them, rinse and repeat, right? I don't mind the repetition. I was saying on the show in the earlier memory blocks, when the game, because obviously the way the game ramps up in difficulty is it just throws more, like, it feels like the guards are quicker to come after you or something. Or they're you know, and like in the early going, I actually found the game like rather relaxing. I'd put on like a YouTube video on my phone, I'd play it, I'd go through the motions, and I was like, I don't mind the repetitive nature of this. But by the end, there's so many fucking guards climbing up your ass every time you sneeze the wrong fucking way. There's a lot of ass climbing today, but there's so many guards all over you every time you fucking sneeze or look at somebody the wrong way. Or I try to push away a begging woman, and I don't even know what I'm doing that's triggering the fucking guards. And all I have left to do to get my last assassination greenlit is to kill these 5 Templar guys or whatever the fucks and get back to the twisted ankle guy. And it like, I fucked it up. And every time I fucked it up, it was like, now run around like a dipshit till I find one of those shacks to hide in when no one else is around to reset the clock. And then once the clock gets reset, go back to the guy with the twisted ankle, get him to give me the mission, start from scratch. Anybody I killed is alive again. Go fucking do it again. And it finally happened one too many times. And I was like, that's it. That's it. I fucking did a little bit of soul searching. And I was like, is there anything that can happen after this assassination that if I don't see it or do it is going to ruin this review? And I thought to myself, all that's left presumably is the end of the game and the end of the story. And I don't want to fight any kind of final boss if there is one. And if I'm putting my cards on the table, I don't know or give a flying fuck what the story is. Some guy in the future is a distant relative, an assassin, and the assassin apparently sucks and keeps making guards angry, which is why he can't sneak around and kill 5 fucking people in 4 minutes and get back to a guy with a twisted fucking ankle. And I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm fucking done. So for all of you Assassin's Creed fans, I really, really like the concept, and I can't wait to. I have a copy of Assassin's Creed 2 sitting right here looking at me. I can't wait
So
to
good.
play it and see how it improves. The concept of this game is great, but the tediousness, the repetition, the running from the guards and hiding those fucking shacks, and as you mentioned, dude, the fucking controls.
Oh,
Holy Jesus. Maybe they weren't bad in 2007, but by 2026 standards, the
yeah.
thing about it is like the parkour is like that's the crown jewel of the controls
Hmm.
to me.
Yeah,
And and
it is.
and I have nice things to say too. Like I actually thought it was quite intuitive, at least to start. Like it's really cool. Like watching him, dude. My favorite part of this game was just climbing the towers to like look around and then dive off into the bales of hay.
Well, that's
Like,
again, and that's a criticism of a lot of newer games, like of the newer genre of the games, is it kind of got away from that because again, the buildings are few and far between. You don't feel that, but like in these early ones, you see that's again they built. It feels like they said, "I want to make a game about parkour. How? What do we do to give it a cool story?" And again,
yeah,
that's great. It's just every now and again because it if you play brother or two Brotherhood Revelations. There's a trilogy from off of two, but it's the controls get a lot smoother, but it also have gotten a lot smoother in in like the Ezio trilogy that's now out on everything. Unless,
yeah.
but like it's still they're still far smoother because again. And again, even to this day, sometimes sometimes it's just you flick your thing the wrong way and it takes you off in a weird direction. But
Yeah.
again, in this first one, because I don't think all the bugs were gone yet, it just there's times where you just lets you jump, but just won't catch, and you fall and
Oh,
like
dude. You know where it fucked me the most was more so than that last mission where I finally rage quit. There's one of the assassinations you have to kill this guy on like a boat.
yeah.
Um and I think there's multiple ways to get there. Like you could just run along the ground and go in guns a blazing and fight your way through and get to him and kill him, or you can do the sneaky way of hopping from like little boat to little boat across these like posts in the water and climb up the back of the boat and kill him quick before anybody sees you.
Mhm.
And the sheer number of times that dumb-headed fuck assassin would
Mhm.
jump toward the wrong pole and just
Uh,
fall into the water and I'd like die and have to start over again. Like I
yeah.
was like, oh, because you're right. It's and I want to make this part clear. I'm not shitting on these controls. I think it's actually, and that was like they're very frustrating. Like because you can't. It's hard to tell them what you want them to grab. Sometimes you're trying to like run away from guards and you're trying to climb shit. And instead of him climbing up, he climbs kind of left, and you're hanging there, and then you get hit by a stone, and you fall. Like,
Mhm.
it's very the concept is great. The execution is frustrating. But while I was playing it, I had the thought that like one of the complaints we have about games today, like in 2026, this generation, the PS5 generation,
Yeah.
one of the big complaints we have about games today is that there's not a lot of creativity anymore. Everything is like a carbon copy or a rip off of something else. Find something that works, make another one. Like everyone, we complain about that so much. And you go back to this era and you go back to the very first Assassin's Creed, and I'll hear the complaints about the repetitiveness of the combat, and I'll hear the complaints about the controls, and I'll agree with the complaints on some of the story aspects. But I was like, what an inventive game. You just don't see this anymore.
No. Like
Like,
again, like I don't remember playing games outside of maybe Infamous. Is the only other game I can think that had like a parkour element in that time. There's probably many more, but like this was one of the first ones that had that kind of free run, do kind of jump, go anywhere kind of ability to the game. And
yeah.
I thought it really invented for. And again, this is the tech demo of the franchise. Again, knowing it 19 years later, it's done some insane things in how it's evolved. But like to what this was, it was just you look at it, you go, wow, I've never played anything like this. And again, they took advantage of the hardware of the PS3, of the 360, of that eras of gaming to really create something different compared to everything at the time. Again, it gave you the hack and slash. It gave you if you wanted to play it stealth, but it also gave you this like ability to just kind of go anywhere in the environment, by able to climbing and jumping off things and swinging on things. It gave you that ability that you never really saw, and I don't remember seeing in games at that
No,
time.
I don't either. And I'm sure that there was other games that were like that. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
played, I played Spider-Man on Xbox and it was awesome.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I'm not going to say we've never played another game like that, but yeah, I was playing it and I was just like, cause I assume this was considered a fairly AAA title back in 07. Like I don't remember, but I'm assuming it's gotta be somewhat AAA anyway. And I was like,
Definitely.
what an inventive game. And that's something. Like we did BioShock 2 on the show a few months ago, and like replaying the BioShock games, I felt the same way. Like I'm not saying there's no inventive games now. Expedition 33 was a fucking what a masterpiece. Like I'm not going to say that new creative games and IPs and shit don't happen, but it's one of my favorite things about going back to these old games is like playing the first one in a series like Assassin's Creed and to see how many different games have come out of it in the last 20 years from this one. And like this was the seed that they planted that started this tree growing. And I was like, what a roll of the dice for you. Like, where's I mean, I know where Ubisoft is now. They're making the same 4 or 5 games that sell. They're making the next Far Cry. They're making the next Assassin's Creed. They're making the ones that's Prince of Persia, the ones that sell. I understand that. But I was like, dude, like what a different era for gaming. And I've really, and this doesn't just apply to Assassin's Creed, but I've always been very lukewarm on the PS3. Like I'm not a big PS3 guy. I was an Xbox 360, and I know this was on Xbox 360 as well. But I'm just saying, like, I was a 360 guy. But even then, like, that was a generation where I mostly played sports games. I went off the beaten path a little bit, but I mostly played sports games. And the more of them I go back and play now,
I remember playing poker with you, and there'd always be a sports game playing.
Yeah.
People play sports games when they were playing. Yeah.
I go back and play something like Assassin's Creed, and I'm just like, what a creative generation this was. And all the ranting I'm gonna do about this game, I just have to like I respect this game a lot more than I expected to, quite frankly.
It again, not like you said, other games have been games to this day still have very inventive things in them. We see it constantly, but again, you see a lot of rinse repeat. Look at the Pokemon franchise. Look at again,
Pokemon's the worst.
Creed,
for it, man.
Far Cry. A lot of franchises kind of do the same thing. Even you can even criticize. You could even say like God of War. While the stories are amazing, it's still the same game in the end from God of War to Ragnarok. Still the same game, just added features, right? But again, it's how you change certain things, how you bring things to it. And again, they found the formula and have just improved upon it, or unimproved, as some people may say in the later part. But again, what they created here, I think, created some of the best games that people still rave about. Especially like the Ezio trilogy 3 and 4 are 5 of the games that people still talk about in 2026. It was the peak. It was so good. They were amazing.
Yeah.
All these crazy things and what they did. Like look at Black Flag. Spawn, was it Sea of Thieves? Or was it Sea of Thieves? Or it was one of those games, but it's like that spawned from the Black Flag.
Oh, Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones. That came because of Black Flag. And that was in what, like 09 or 2009, 2010 somewhere. And that was developed because of that game and things that have come out of these games. But again, it's for its time, I think they did such a great job in creating a skeleton that could only be built upon, and to create really cool things in the 19 years since.
Yeah, it was very neat. Like when I finally put the controller down and I was like, all right, I've had enough. And we'll get into some of the more intricacies of the game now in a second. Before I start going off on some of the things in the game that made me fucking crazy, like I really just wanted to get it out of the way and just say, like, I'm not going to sit here and say that Assassin's Creed is one of the most important games that was ever made, because I don't think it is. And I think if the world didn't have Assassin's Creed, I don't know if gaming would be any worse off without the Assassin's Creed games. But I know the people that like these games have a few that they really, really like. And I got to be honest, I I played this one back today. I thought it was like, whatever. I didn't finish it, and then I never went back. I always kind of have written this series off. Every time a new Assassin's Creed gets announced, which is again every fucking 8 months, it feels like. Every time a new Assassin's Creed gets announced, I kind of just roll my eyes and I'm like, oh fuck, here we go again, Ubisoft. How many more? Like, how much is left in this sponge that you could possibly wring out at this point? Like, how many more? Like, I'm a Far Cry fan. I like the Far Cry games, but there are a very small number of Far Cries compared to Assassin's Creed. Like, they don't get pimped out as often, nearly as often as Assassin's Creed does. But playing this first one now, and I was like, man, this is a very, very intuitive, inventive, somewhat creative, and kind of clever game. And I really want to see, like, I can't believe how interested I am now in playing future Assassin's Creed games and seeing where this series goes. And I was like, it sounds stupid, but when I put the controller down, I was like, am I an Assassin's Creed guy now? And I looked at Millie, and then I don't know, she didn't really care, but I was like, what's happened to me? I was like, I played Call of Duty in 2024, and now I'm an Assassin's Creed guy. I know my voice is cracking like crazy, but I've done nothing but mock this series for 15 years.
You're in your older age now. You're learning that the stuff you hated when you were a child, it no longer sucks when you're an older adult.
I guess.
Trust me, I know that feeling.
as we start dissecting this game, and I tell you all the reasons I didn't finish. I don't want to go as far as to say I think this game sucks, but all the reasons I didn't finish it. I do just want to stress to all you Assassin's Creed, all you ass creators out there, Assassin's Creed 2 will get an episode of Remember the Game. I can assure you, before Remember the Game 400. It might happen before the summer, but it will happen very soon, because even when I've looked up lists of people ranking the Assassin's Creed games, 2 is very high. I was like, okay, I got to see what happened here. Like, what? Because that's what it comes down to, is like the skeleton of this game is great. It's just that you can only beat the skeleton so many fucking times, Andre.
I look at, and this is, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I just kind of to talk about story throughout the franchise. Like, one story is more about just kind of establishing plot points in creating the Assassin's Order, the Templar Order, like kind of just establishing certain lore, and then the start of Desmond's storyline, which I think is the worst of all Desmond's storylines, because the story only gets better as you go. But it's kind of just an establishing point, and then why the Ezio trilogy is so, like, 2 Brotherhood and Revelations are so revered is because they told such an amazing. That's is where I really feel like the story starts to really become a great story, because over the trilogy you get to live the life of Ezio throughout all 3 games, and then when you get to 3, you get more. The real life story, I think, is more compelling in 2 and in 3, and then the same with the ancestors. You actually start to give a crap about the ancestors, because, like, in this game, Altair is cool, but I don't really care that much about Altair himself. You know what I mean?
And I wanted to ask you about that. So, like, we'll start dissecting Assassin's Creed 1 now. I've blown enough smoke up Ubisoft's ass. I want to talk about this. Like, so, like, the game, like, you have that Desmond guy in the present who's like got to lay down in this fucking futuristic alien bed every day, and then the hot girl and the old man scan his head, and he's like an ancestor of Ezio, right? Or of Altair, excuse me.
He's Altair's descendant or whatever.
And at the very beginning, I think it's actually pretty cool. Like, where Altair kind of fucks up this mission, and then he goes back, and then the old man yells at him, and he's going to kill him, and then he decides to test him instead. And then he's sending him off to kill all these people. And that's like story 1, is that, like, Altair is just getting sent off by the head of the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, whatever, to, like, assassinate all these different targets.
Well, he's like a top rank assassin, screws up, so they bust him back down to basic assassin. Say, you have to go do all this so that you can become what you were.
Mm-hmm.
Relearn what the Assassin's Order is.
But every time you go to an area and like there's the one where you kill the, like, doctor guy,
mm-hmm.
and at first it seems like he's like conducting crude experiments on people and torturing them and stuff like that. But then when you're following him around in his like hospital wing or whatever the fuck, waiting for a chance to strike, he's talking to people and some of them are like, man, you've really helped me feel better and stuff. And all of that kind of, and like every single one of them, after LTR kills them and comes back to the old man to tell him about it, it's like he's like, am I killing these people because they're bad, or like have you got some kind of beef? And I found that not interesting, obviously not interesting enough to finish the game. But I did, because I know eventually I was like, anyone playing this game can tell that this old man that's sending you out to kill these people has another plan. Like there's a reason he's doing this.
Well,
Like,
yeah. Do we want to talk the overarching story? It's you're being sent out to kill 9 people, including the guy you face off right at the beginning, because they're trying to steal what's called the Piece of Eden.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the golden apple from Adam and Eve, and
Yeah, yeah.
you
And
get more of
then-
it in later games, and then eventually once you take down and you're getting these weird clues that not all these people are doing bad things. Don't get me wrong. There's still there's certain experiments that he's doing. He's killing people while doing some experiments, but he's also helping other people. And then there's like arms dealers that you're taking down, and as you do, you're like, okay, these people aren't great people, but like, do they actually deserve to die here? And you kind of question it, and then when you do eventually kill what you're led to believe is the main bad guy, he reveals that there wasn't 9, there's 10 people, and that the leader of the Assassin's Order is the 10th member. That is the kind of,
Yeah,
but it's
classic,
kind of obvious
right.
after going that usually the biggest bad is the one telling you to kill off the rest of
Of
his
course.
buddy.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
usually what it is. It's
Like-
kind of a trope of a lot of games, movies,
Everything.
just
everything.
entertainment in general.
So like I was fascinated enough, I guess, by that this assassin is like killing everyone as he's told to, but he's slowly becoming more and more conflicted with it, being like, they don't seem that bad. Like, why are we doing this? But to your point, I think that's one of my, I guess, semi criticisms of this game is that like Altier starts out kind of like a badass, like he's kind of a hothead, and then he loses his rank, and they're gonna kill him, and then they don't, and all that. Like that's fine. And then I did enjoy the occasional cutscene after a successful assassination when you would come back to report you did it, get another piece of your equipment, and he would start to like push back at the head of the Creed a little bit and be like, "Why am I doing this? Like, why are we killing everybody?" But I would have liked to, like you said, I would have liked to seen a little bit more in that, and I would have liked to have seen like I wish Altier had like another assassin that was like a friend of his that he could talk to about it. Be like, I don't know why I'm doing like something to give me some kind of character with this guy, because I mean, maybe it's
Like
part of being an assassin is you can't have a lot of personality, but like I felt very, very, very little attachment to this kid after the first hour of the game.
Yeah,
Very
and
little.
again, I think that's a big thing they correct in future games because again, Ezio, his character is amazing. 3, Connor, absolutely tremendous. What's the? I can't remember the Edward Kenway from 4, and then like like characters in the later games like Jacob B. Fry and like Cassandra slash I can't remember her brother's name.
So, but they get more they get more
But
interesting.
you because like this is like again, it's the first game. It's the one that they did the least amount of building a story for a character, in my opinion, other than the story you're doing then. Because like in the later in 2 and its trilogy of games, you learn your main character's story. You learn about the person, not just hey, I got to go do this, and oh, why is this guy doing that? You actually you learn.
And that's what I
learn all
wanted to
that,
know.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what I wanted to know because I was like, that I think that's my single biggest problem with Assassin's Creed 1 was that like, let's put our cards on the table, man. Like what like sure, pickpocketing can be fun for a little while. Climbing the towers and looking around and diving off into the hay is fun for a little while. But the gameplay loop of Assassin's Creed 1 is very, very, very repetitive and very shallow. And so I'm like, I'm not playing this for the fun of just doing the same 3 fucking things over and over again. And then I got to the point where I was starting to get sick of it. And I was like, I'm not doing it for the story because I don't give a flying fuck about Altier. Like, he hasn't done anything to make me care about him. And then I kept assuming that the driving point of the story by the end of the game was going to be Desmond back in the present. in this bed, and I kept waiting and waiting. Every time it would cut to like another cutscene there where he'd be like finish for a day and the doc would be on the phone and be yelling at him or whatever the fuck would happen. And I was like, eventually there's going to be some kind of payoff here, right? But every time I finished a memory block, it was just like, I can walk around this lab, do absolutely nothing with it, and then go to bed and then do it again the next day. And that's my
yeah,
sorry.
that's a big part of what comes in second and third games.
And that's what I wanted to know, because that's my single biggest problem with this game was I was like, outside of the sake of finishing Assassin's Creed 1, why am I finishing this? The gameplay loop, I've had my fun with it, but I'm not having fun with it anymore. It's the same thing I've been doing for the last 10 hours. I don't give a fuck about Altair. I don't give a fuck about Desmond. And the controls are starting to piss me off. I was like, there's literally no element of this, like, at least in the early chapters, I hadn't done the gameplay loop so many times, so it was just fun to sneak into a town and kill somebody. Like it was fun. It's who hasn't dreamed of doing that, right? It's a good time, but by the end, I was like, I'm done.
Again, it's the weakest story of, I will say, any game. I don't care what anybody says. It's the weakest story of any Assassin's Creed game. But again, I don't fault it for it of its time, because again, it was the establishing point for this. And again, I truly believe they had a story written for multiple games when they wrote this. They were writing because again, at least Desmond's story was plotted out in a certain way, and then they were figuring out this, and it just didn't do a lot. But like when you go to Brotherhood and Revelations, which are its offshoot games, which are part of the storyline, it creates such a great narrative, both in the present and in the past. It does a good job. And like, you don't get it. Like, it's Desmond is still, I kind of think 3 is where you get the best Desmond stuff.
But, so he comes back for multiple games.
Yeah. He's got a story. This is just the start of his story. Cause again, like I think in this one, he's subject number 17. I think he's the 17th person they've been doing this. Okay. And again, you see, and there's little clues throughout the game in these little cutscenes that, like, especially in later memories, where he's getting this like bleeding effect and he's starting to see things when he's out of the animus. It's essentially the eagle vision, and the end of game, he's doing that after, and it's the reveal of Desmond, and I don't want to get to what it is.
No, don't spoil anything.
The end of this game shows him in his room looking at all these different glyphs on the wall using eagle vision, right? And the person that was there before, like Subject 16, went insane and started scrawling everything in, but not visually, but the eagle version. That's essentially where it kind of finishes, and then you get to what comes from there in 2. With Desmond's story. I
was just curious if it gets more interesting, because I was like, this is fucking paint drying. Like I have nothing else to say about this story. I think the Desmond scenes, like, people think Mary Jane's fucking sections in Spider-Man 1 on PS4 are bad. I was like, play Assassin's Creed. At least you got to do something as Mary Jane.
At least you got to do something as Mary Jane.
They're terrible.
You don't get to do nothing as Desmond in this one.
No.
And 2, you get more Desmond, but it's more about, again, his stuff in the second one is more about establishing Desmond's story with the people. And then 3rd is where you really get you get to do some stuff with him in the second one, but I feel like 3rd is where you really get the action with Desmond. Well, on top of Connor's in the Animus.
This has been an exponentially longer answer and segment than I anticipated, which is fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. All I really meant was, like, I guess I should have asked it this way off the top. I was like, are these like Final Fantasy where they have nothing to do with each other, or is this a continuing story? So to hear it's continuing
technically,
story,
like this,
I should have
each its own story, but they're all interconnected in some way.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So then, because like I know when I'm done, people are going to be like, should I start with 1 or go to 2? And I'm like, it's up to, like, I guess the big problem with starting with 1 is that, like, I was shocked to feel it's not anywhere. Like, I found a copy for $4 for a PS3, and I was like, that's all right, I'll play. Which, by the way, I think $4 is what this game is about worth.
Well, that's funny, because you have, like, especially the availability of this game. Like, I went looking to see if I could find it anywhere online. I'm like, man, I can only play it on my PlayStation or if I had an old Xbox. And so I went and dug out my old copy for my PS3 and played it on my PS3.
Yeah, but I get why they don't make it available, because I honestly think like, unless you were to remake this game from the ground up, I don't think it would even review that good. Like, I get why. I'm really not trying to shit on your game, guys, but I get why so many people warned me to play the second one first. Because, like, it's just, if someone had never played this game, never played this series, and then they picked this one up in 2007, it was probably cool and new and exciting. But to play it now, like, it's okay. We got to take the break. When we get back from the break, we'll literally. I let the break go purposely longer than I normally do because like I do want to talk about the actual gameplay loop, but the gameplay loop is the smallest chicken wing in the basket.
But
It is.
I'll say
not
this to
big.
what you were saying just quickly. If you want to get into Assassin's Creed, just watch a 20-minute story recap from of in on YouTube, and then go play 2.
Yeah,
If you want to get into it now.
we're not even done reviewing it yet, and I would say like unless you're a completionist, you can skip this one, man. It is.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering like what you're like, dude, I don't know, you said the stories, but like when we get back from the break, I will tell you about the gameplay, and you're gonna be like, oh, I see now. So we'll remember the game will return after these messages. We'll be right back.
Dear PlayStation, my grandma won't stop watching Blu-ray movies on my PS3.
Look, for $299, you don't just get a sweet gaming machine. It's like you get the best Blu-ray player around built in for free. You know how old people like free stuff.
Yeah, but
You know what she did for fun when she was your age? She pushed a hoop with a stick.
But I want to play.
With a stick.
I've been waiting.
Stick.
PS3, now $299.
PlayStation.
Okay, so we've already praised the parkour, which is very, very, very inventive. If you've not played it, like you hold R1 and you steer Altier around, and he is incredibly intuitive. He'll jump from like, it's really, when it works, it is really fun. You're like running from rooftop to rooftop. You're jumping on poles. You're reaching up and grabbing window ledges and shit, and it's connecting. It's all in one smooth motion, and it's not the classic yellow paint that we see in so many games now that tells you what ledges and shit you can climb on. And you can just kind of tell like what ledges you get. You can grab almost everything. If there's a ledge, you can probably grab it. And it is very, very intuitive, and it feels very good.
I was gonna say like that run around is so much fun, and again, 2, it's trilogy. The rest of its trilogy, 3, 4, just the parkour is amazing. And then as you go into the games, the expansion of everything you can do, it's just absolutely awesome.
And it's great. It's a cool concept in this one. The big problem with it in this one is just that it's if there's 2 ledges in front of you, it's almost a guarantee that he's going to grab the one you didn't mean to fucking grab. Yeah. Like it never fails. And it can get a little bit frustrating, but I do think it's very, very cool. Unfortunately, on the other side of the control spectrum, this game might have the shallowest combat system I have ever experienced in my entire life. You guys, you can hit square to attack, or you can hold the shoulder button and hit square at the last moment to counter. And you do it is satisfying to hit a counter assassin, like a kill, like an assassin, like a counter kill. It's great.
They're fun. There's fun at times,
but like and I'm going to be honest, it's not Assassin's Creed fault, but I played it right after I finished Ghost of Yotei, which is a similar combat system, but 3 generations later and 100 times better. But even had I not been coming off the shoulders of Ghost of Yotei, the counters are fun, dude. There is so little to like. There's no, you don't learn new moves and combos. There's you get throwing knives, but like, you really only use them. I don't know about you. I basically just use them to shut up guards that are like, hey, you shouldn't be up here. And I'd be like, oh yeah?
You use those when you go to an area and you see a few extra people and you don't I just don't want to fight that many people. So you knife knives and you jump down and finish the last 2.
It just really sucks that like the combat system in this game is as primitive as any combat system I've ever experienced on the PS3. Like it is, and it's not, I didn't even find it fun. Dude, like I would get to my assassination target and they might have 7 or 8 guards around. And after about 3 hours of playing the game, I was just pushing everybody out of my way to get to my target, kill them, and then get the fuck. I'm like, I don't even want to fight. I have zero interest in fighting. Like there's no skill tree. There's nothing to level you up. Like you can level up by like increasing your health and getting new moves when you complete an assassination. But like that's it. There's no
Yeah.
perk, there's no changing your loadout to acquire different skills or anything. It's just basically use square, hold the block button, hit square at the right time to counterattack, rinse and repeat.
And that's where
it's
like the future games really do give you more and more as you go. There's new weapons, like different types of weapons. You get swords, axes, things like that. Like guns are brought in at one point. You get guns. You get so much more as the series progresses. Different weapons.
yeah.
Different things you can do. Especially like Ezio's trilogy. You get to do some really fun stuff. And again, it gives you different options for weapons. Again, it's still technically the control system is varied, but you get a couple versions of the attack. You get it. You feel where they improve on a lot of it, even into the second game. You find because again, with the extra weapons and extra things you can use, and as the series goes on, the more and more stuff that are added, and then when it becomes like the more open world, bigger games,
Sure.
Origins and Odyssey, there's skill trees. There's skill trees in the earlier ones too, but again,
Right.
it becomes more like what a God of War skill tree would be. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. The thing with one is like over and above the fact that like the combat is just super super basic. There's not like so I was playing through the first area. And I 100% of the first area, like other than getting all the flags, like those collectibles, I didn't get all.
But that's more collectathon if anything.
Yeah, but I was like, I got all of the perch tower things. I saved all the citizens. I fucking did all the like little side missions, like the pickpocketing and the interrogations. I did everything, and then I was like, I got into the second area and realized it was like the same thing, and it just slowly like ticks up in difficulty. And then I was like looking online and asking people in the streams and stuff, and I was like, yo, is there any reason to do everything? And the only reward you get from like saving every citizen and doing everything is like every 15 or 16 things you do, you get an extra bar on your health. And then as people were pointing out, they're like, dude, once you get good at the countering system, the health doesn't even matter because you never get touched. And that was what was happening to me. Like the reason I rage quit near the end wasn't because the game got too hard. It was because I just got sick of doing the same shit over and over and having to start over again. But
and
like
there's sometimes where you're required to do the stupid ass things, and you're like, why am I doing this again? Where I find as the game moves on, you're doing tasks for people, but like again, just not to spoil them, like Leonardo da Vinci is part of the Ezio trilogy. You're doing things for him that help progress the story forward, but it's new missions throughout and things like that. You know what I mean? Where it's
like
not just go through the same thing 14 times in a row.
This is the same 4 things over and over again.
Yeah.
And then add in the fact that there's really no reward other than increasing a health meter that doesn't need to be increased. And then add in that the combat is just either countering or, how you continue your attacks is right as your sword strikes the enemy's sword, hit attack again. And so for the first like half a dozen times you fight an enemy, you're listening to the game, and right as you hear that clang, you hit it again, and then you swing it again. But I got to the point where I was basically playing it with the sound off most of the time, and I was just listening to a YouTube video because I just knew my timing and when to attack. And I was like, this is the most repetitive combat system. Oh, and sorry. If I could write one other thing, how are there no subtitles in this fucking game? I know that's a little thing. There are no subtitles.
Is there no option?
No, I went online and Googled it because I was like, yo, how can I not? Because like I found some of the voice acting very quiet. And so I was like, how the fuck do I turn on the subtitles? And everyone's like, no, there's no subtitles in Assassin's Creed 1.
Because I'm pretty sure there's subtitles in later versions. I know that.
Yeah,
like I said, I turned this game on, played it for a couple hours, and went, I just can't do this. Because I think I started playing Assassin's Creed 2 like a month or two ago. And I was playing that, and I started playing this, I'm like, this is so annoying because again I'm used to later versions of the game, but like I didn't really think about that. I
know it's a little
big, especially when I play a lot of older games. I don't have sound on, and I don't really pay attention to story because I played these games so many times. I don't need to pay attention to story as much anymore when I replay these games.
Sure, yeah. I googled it just now, and are there any subtitles in this game or not? And someone's like, you're deaf, I assume, eh? Nope, there's no subtitles. Which I was like, classic internet. Always got to be a cunt. Someone's just asking if there's a way to turn on subtitles, and you got to be like, oh, you're deaf, eh? You piece of shit. Fuck you.
Yeah,
But
I hate that shit. I hate that so much.
I was like, no, I was like, I can't really hear them at times. And admittedly, I was like, I don't totally care. So I kind of just want to listen to like a YouTube video. So I was like, I wish that I could just read it. So that's no points are coming off for it. But I just was like, what fucking game doesn't have subtitles? Like, what the fuck is this shit? So, so the combat.
Yeah, and again, sometimes you want to watch a football game while you're playing this game. You want to watch
exactly,
on your laptop on DAZN while you're playing a video game, and it's like, why can't I?
That's what I was doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, so the combat is incredibly thin, and then like every time you finish a mission, the old man gives you back like another piece of equipment. Like you get your hidden blade, you get your throwing knives, you get more throwing knives, you get like stuff like that. And then every time, then he's like, he sends a pigeon off to like your next stop. And that was another thing that didn't really. This might sound like a criticism, but I actually enjoyed this aspect of the game because this is where I found it relaxing. So then he tells you like, okay. Like it gets like, I don't remember, like memory block 3 or 4, and you have to go to like all 3 towns and like kill somebody in each of the 3 towns. And so you go to the town, you kill one of them, then you go back, talk to the old man, be like, hey, he's dead. And then the old man's like, go kill more people. And every time he sends you off to kill more people, you jump over that balcony, you go out. The guy is like, my students, they don't know how to fight. Perhaps you can show them what you know. And then you go in and you do it. And then when you leave, he's like, you're busy. I understand. And then you run through the town every single time. Get on the horse, ride the horse to that fucking fast travel spot. And I'm not upset about it because I actually found that part rather relaxing. I made a game out of it to see how fast I could get from like being yelled at by the old man to my horse. But I just was like, how are you making me run through the boring starting town 10 times?
Every time.
I was floored by that.
But again, it again, of its time, fast travel.
Sure.
Again,
but
fast travels were out there at the time, but they weren't as. But if you think, as soon as you give them the send the pigeon off, just give them the option of fast travel.
Yeah, and you know what's funny?
The room, like,
and you know what's funny?
Yeah.
You know when you do something like when you were a kid, you remember you get like an A on something or you get like a really good grade.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in a subject or something that you don't normally get a really good grade in. And then when you get back to getting like your C's and your D's and your parents are like, what the fuck happened? You were good at this last month. And you're like, dude, I got lucky. I don't fucking know. That's why I can't give them a pass on the fast travel thing, because when you ride the horse, once you get out of the town to the crossroads, then it's like, once you go through that open world once, then it's like, hey, do you want to fast travel to Jerusalem or whatever any of the other towns are?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, okay, so you know what, or when you finish an assassination, they're like, the assassination is done. Do you want to fast travel back to the old man to find out your next one? So I'm like, oh, so you know what fast travel is. Mm-hmm. You just don't give me the fast travel option to get out of the fucking town that I have to go back to every fucking time.
It's like they had a load point for going to everything, but they put it in the wrong spot.
I don't understand.
That's the
and
problem.
Like,
they put the fast travel spot in the wrong place in the goddamn town.
Yeah, if you're gonna give me the chance to fast travel to the town where my next assassination, once I've been there, I understand not giving it to me the first time, because like the first time you go to each of the towns, you have to ride the horse through like the big open world and. Like there's the like and I get it because you got to experience, like I can live with that. That's fine.
That's part of and like especially now adventure games, you travel the road, get the place, but then you want to go back there again, just jump there.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like so you basically make me walk halfway, and then you're like, okay, if you want to fast travel there, go ahead. And I can't figure out why that wasn't like. There's the only thing there is to do between standing there getting chewed out by the old man and getting on your horse and getting to the point where you can fast travel to a town you want is to run through that little village and collect flags if you want to. Like that's the only thing there is to do if you want to. So I'm like, why on earth could you not find it in your heart to give us the chance to skip that? That said, I'm not going to take any points off it because I enjoyed running through the town. I don't even know if I would have fast traveled if the option had been there. I liked running through the town, but I don't understand the creative decision to not give you that option. That just seems so weird to me. I
It's
don't get
odd
it.
because I feel like they put the fast travel location. They should have just put it in the fucking how the assassin's order place. That's where it should have.
Yeah. Yeah, it should have been in there. I don't get why. I don't know, whatever. It's fucking
Yeah,
weird.
it's stupid, but it's there.
Um One of the things I really, one thing we haven't praised yet that I really wanted to give it some credit for was two. I guess they kind of tie into each other. One, for a PS3 game and like a not late PS3 game, like the Last of, like I always look at the Last of Us as like the
Hmm.
pinnacle of the PS3, but the Last of Us was like right at the tail end of the PS3, right? Which Assassin's
Yeah,
Creed One
yeah.
was not.
This was
Um,
like a year in, I think.
yeah, like this is early. I have to say, like for a fairly early game in this generation, I think it actually looks very good. I think the graphics are very good, and I was quite impressed by how many competent NPCs they were able to get on the screen at any given time. Like when you're walking through that town, one of those towns, and you can use the circle button to like kind of shove people out of the way gently and stuff like that. And there are guards hanging around. There's crazy people running around. There's women coming up to you begging for money and for food and things like that. There's like you can get like the hooligans to protect you. It's like when you're
And
running away
there's
from
like a
the
bunch of like a
guards.
priests walking around that you can like
Yeah,
blend in with and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When you're running away from the guards, like it feels like a full village that you're running through. And I
Mhm.
was very impressed at how smoothly that worked as well.
Yeah, again,
Um,
clean. It seemed clean enough for its time. Like, again, it's all improved on as it go. But again, I found for a 2007 game, I think they did a really good job, and it doesn't feel like. Again, I'm not a graphics snob. I'm not like
Me
I.
neither.
Day I
Same.
don't. I just turn the game on and I play it, and whatever settings it was on when I started it, that's the settings I play it on. I guess. 'Cause I don't care as long as the game's there, I can play it. But again, it looks good. It does like again it's of its time. It's early PS3, so it's not like
Yeah.
it's not, but it's not blocky. But it's
No, no, that's the thing.
there's times where certain things look a little like okay, but
Sure. But
you're not
like,
like again it's 2007 game. You can't get mad at it before its time. I think it's really well done in how it
me
looks,
too.
how it renders everything, how it kind of creates everything, and as you go,
Me
I do
too.
quite enjoy it.
Me too. I thought that the village and the villagers don't have like the flat faces, where they could have just been like generic villager 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like they all look like actual people, and you can interact with all of them in the sense that like they get in your way. And then you added the point of like I love that there's multiple options to escape the guards once they're chasing
Mhm.
you. Like you can do the classic run and hide in those yellow shacks that are on the ceilings
Or in
or
the
on the
hay
roofs, or
bales,
hide
and
in the
yeah.
bales of hay. But you can also blend in with the priests and just look like you're praying with them, and that's very intelligent, and they'll get away. Or once you save people, then the like I can't remember what they're called now, but like the rebellious villagers will be there, and you can run through them, and they'll like stop the guards and buy you some time to get away.
Mhm.
And like you can sit on benches to hide and stuff like that. Like I was very impressed for an early PS3 generation. I keep saying just PS3 because that's what I
But
played on.
it's
It is 360
360,
as
but
well,
yeah,
but that generation.
yeah.
Very impressed at how competent the people in the towns were, and how alive the villages felt. I wish there
Yeah,
was more to do in the villages other than the same five fucking things, but
and
at
again,
least the villages felt alive.
that's another point of 2 and its trilogy and 3 and 4 and so on. They give you more to do in each village, and again, like, there's points of, like, resources become not like resort not like that, but you get places where you can buy stuff and
Yeah,
pull
yeah. At least
or
interact with them. Yeah.
that world becomes bigger, so there's more things to do in a town. There's optional side missions you could do for just people in the town, or you can just go along the main story side missions, and there's all these little things that come. But again, this kind of gives you helps create the world of it. Hey, there's things going on in these worlds, but not
Yeah.
anything I truly have to interact with. But it's cool to see it's existing while I exist in it.
Yeah, totally. And
Yeah.
then another thought I had while I was playing it that I thought was very clever is, well, I find the Desmond real life stuff
Mm.
quite possibly the boringest thing I've ever experienced in a video game. I think
And you
the
can't skip
con
it. You can't
no, you
skip
can't.
it. That is my biggest point of something like I know the story and I don't need and I'm sitting there, I'm like, why can't I skip any of
Yeah, you can't.
and I got so angry. That's part of the reason
But
why I turned it off because I just dealing with the Desmond bullshit.
but I thought the idea of tying him from the present to the past was very clever in a couple of ways. One, they explained that like when you die, it's not that Altier is out of health and he's physically died. It's that your like memory has severed and that's why he is dead. And so like the more things you do, the better your memory is and the stronger the connection is. So the more health you buy because it's harder for you to lose your memory. I thought that was very cool. And I love the way when you're in the towns, because you go back to the same few towns over and over again, the areas you can't get into until future assassinations, it's like you can't remember that yet. And I was like,
Yeah, because it kind of creates
clever,
a wall of a section.
Yeah.
Like memory not available and things like that. Because again, you haven't unlocked that part of your memory yet, and which is kind of cool. Which again, they use in future games to open the worlds up bigger and bigger. But you can't get to certain parts because you can't. You don't know that yet. You haven't explored because you gotta figure out certain things before you can get there. Love that.
And I thought that was a very clever way to like seal off sections of the town. Because I was like, how else do you seal off? You know, it's one thing if you like a building isn't open yet. And they're like, oh, come back later. We'll open the door to the building. But I was like, in a city, in these villages where they're letting you climb on everything, walk on everything, do basically whatever you want. Like you're basically medieval Spider-Man here. How do you block off entire sections? And I was like, what a clever way to do it. They're like, well, you're tied to the guy in the present. And he doesn't remember that part of the town yet, so he can't go there. And I was
yeah, because you're unlocking
smart. I really,
yeah,
I thought that was a brilliant mechanic. I really liked that.
Again, it really and cool. And again, and just how you progress with the memories. I like that because again, again the way they structure the game, I think is really well done in the memory sequences. In that you're because again, the way he goes into each sequence and having to do kills, it kind of makes sense because you're unlocking each memory because you don't know, you can't get that when you haven't done the stuff in one, and once you do stuff, it's like, oh yeah, because I went to that place, and now, oh yeah, there's that place. So it makes sense that it unlocks as you go. I think they showed they show the line of memories like in like the first cutscene when he's out, and it shows the thing they need is over in like memory 7, but you have to unlock. I like the way they explain that early on too.
Yeah, she's like, we can't just make him go there. We have to like walk him there. Like he has to get there and get. Yeah, oh yeah. On the note of the story, and we're only spoiling Assassin's Creed 1 because I don't know anything of Assassin's Creed 2. So I've told Andre to watch his fucking mouth.
I won't say anything if I don't. The only spoiler I had is the Leonardo da Vinci. That's my only spoiler.
Right. But I like that. From what I've read on, because I never finished the game, but from what I've read online, it's at least implying that the assistant is like works with the assassins.
There's a reveal right in like the last bit. She shows she has like I think it's her fingers. She's lost a finger because she's trapped by these people too.
Yeah.
Really working with the Assassin's Order. Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was because I didn't be honest, I did not see that coming.
She does become a character in Desmond's story,
right? And that's cool because I did not see that coming. So I was like, that's a neat touch.
You think she's just a helper that doesn't want to see you die, like. Those came before you.
I genuinely think like we've touched on basically everything I wanted to. I guess like if I like people like we've all played 100 like if you're listening to this, you've probably played multiple open world, and I don't know if I consider this full blown open world, but it's like it's
again and it gets far more open as we go.
Right. Yeah, like some people have said it gets too open world, but we'll get there when we get there.
Their opinion. I love them all. I love most of them up to now. So.
The point I was gonna make is just like you have to do these side quests before it'll give you like you basically have to gather intel on the target before it'll give you the green light to assassinate
which
them.
Makes sense because in a world of like if you think about spies, they have to learn things. You're not just a spy who just like imagine if Hitman was just like here's your guy, he's right there, go shoot him. That would not
of course, and it makes sense.
Having to learn these characters are makes sense, and I do like that, but having to do the exact same thing every time,
that's the point. I don't know how you make them more interesting, but I was like, every chance because like usually there's like I'm pulling numbers out of my ass, but say there's like 6 mini side quests you can do to gather intel on the target, and you have to do say 3, and they'll be pickpocketing, they'll be interrogating somebody, they'll be running around assassinating people,
eavesdropping. You can blend in with the crowd and listen to certain people talk and stuff.
Eavesdropping. Every time I saw like a pickpocket one, I was like, that's where I'm going because those are the quickest and the easiest. Listen on their conversation, go up behind them, hit circle, take it, go. and it was very, very rare. I fucked it up. They were super simple. Piece of cake. I like those ones. That was the meal ticket to me. Those were easy.
Mhm.
But once I had to start doing the like, you come across these lazy motherfucker assassins who are like, oh man, I'm too hungover today. I rolled my ankle. Can you go do this for me? And then you're trying to do it, and then something goes wrong, and then like it is so like if I oh, it's
Yeah.
not even hindsight. I don't understand how the game testers didn't tell them, like, okay, this assassin has asked you to assassinate 5 targets. And I understand their point is like, dude, if you don't get them all quick, some of them are going to realize what's going on and they're going to get away and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I guess I get that logic. I would have removed that because that just makes it so, dude. I was 4 deep in the 5 assassinations and then accidentally did something to piss a guard off, and then it ruins everything. You spend 5 minutes running around, and every fucking time I would climb up and find somewhere to go hide, right as I go to jump in the hiding space, all of a sudden the little alert thing goes from yellow to red. And now I can't hide there, so I got to hop out, fucking run away again, over and over. And then you finally hide. You wait for the guards to calm their tits. They go away. And then I can't even continue with the progression I had. I have to walk back, hear the same story, go kill the same 5 guys again. And I don't get how a game tester wasn't like, this is going to piss a player off. Let's just let them keep the kills that they. And I know some will be like, dude, shut up, you scrub, get good. Maybe I should fucking get good. But you know what then? How about as soon as I get caught, instead of making me run away, go and hide, then walk back to the person that gave me the quest and start the whole thing over, why don't you just say mission failed? Do you want to try again?
That would be like, oh god, that would make me so much happier in those
Right?
situations.
Like it's not, and sure, maybe I have the benefit of 18 years of hindsight, but fuck.
And you're right back at the start line. Like just
Oh
again,
my
there's so many.
God.
And again, I know as the game goes, and I know in future games, it's built on like because you go to the first those towns the first time, and you do, and like you said, the difficulty gets harder because the next time you come back to the town, they're more aware of you. That's why
Because a high profile person's been killed, right? So
yeah,
like,
because you killed the person, so that they know what you look like, so that it's more likely you're going to be caught. So that's why it makes those future assassinations harder. But it's like, why? Yeah, let me just go right back to the start line. Don't make me run away for 10 minutes and just that. Those are the. And again, I'm not saying all those things get completely resolved in later games because again, you still have the hiding thing is still a thing. It is forever. It's part of the game. But
I get that. I don't even mind that.
it just doesn't. It doesn't come off the same. I really feel in 2 and on because the stories are bigger and more expansive, and you're doing more for characters in each part as you go along, versus just doing the same thing over again to get to the one person, because you're essentially building the story as you go versus like, go kill this guy. You might get an assassination mission given to you in later games, but it's not everything the same thing every single time, right? Because you're going to different characters throughout to help because they go one guy and you do some stuff for him, then you got to go find another character and you go do work for him, and it builds a story as you do the missions versus go kill this guy, go kill that guy. It doesn't feel as like just repeating missions in later games. Build it over a story.
This game to me just boils down to like brilliant concept, incredibly flawed execution.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I can't wait to play the future ones, because I'm like, they know what to do now. Like it's quite frankly, dude, like Assassin's Creed, like, because I know I probably sound like I've been very hard on this game. We're gonna score this thing and wrap it up. I know I sound like I've been hard on this game, but like I'm so intrigued by what they like. If you told me this was like an early model of what it's like, pretend Assassin's Creed 2 is Assassin's Creed 1, and Assassin's Creed 1 is like a playtest beta version of Assassin's Creed 2, which would be the first game, I would believe that. I'm like, there's a great concept here. Let's just make this more not bad, and then I'll be all about this. And I'm going to be honest with everybody. Like, we are going to do Assassin's Creed 2 in the next, I promise, you can hold me to it. In fact, if we haven't reviewed Assassin's Creed 2 before Remember the Game number 400, I will do an entire breakdown of every Kingdom Hearts game. I'm that confident. I'm that confident we will review Assassin's Creed 2 before the end of this year. I promise you.
like you,
That
Kingdom
said,
Hearts is not my favorite. It's not a franchise.
I don't even want to go
got
down. I
ever
don't
got
want to go.
into,
I shouldn't
but
even said that because I don't want to
yeah.
deal with the. For all of you that are
let's-
gonna be like,
let's
why
do
you got
this.
against Kingdom Hearts? Just wait. If everyone, because I know I'm gonna get those messages. Why do you hate Kingdom Hearts? I don't. I just don't want to review them. Okay, please. I shouldn't even have brought it up because I know I'm gonna get the fucking angry messages now. I don't want to. I just don't want to. Okay, but the point is, all I'm trying to say is I'm gonna get to Assassin's Creed 2 soon. The thing is, I want to make this abundantly clear. I'm telling y'all, and this is a compliment. This is not a bad thing. This is a compliment.
Mhm.
The bar for Assassin's Creed 2 has been set very high by me. Okay.
Mhm.
Assassin's Creed 1, I went in not expecting to like it at all. And while I tapped out and I didn't love it, I was very intrigued and I can't wait to see what the future does. Assassin's Creed 2 is not going to get the fucking leeway that this one is getting with all of its flaws. I expect a damned good game. And I'm warning all of you ass creators out there right now. If Assassin's Creed 2 lets me down, you are going to fucking hear about it because they did a great job. You know what this is? Mass Effect 1 is a much better game than Assassin's Creed 1. But Mass Effect 1 set up what Mass Effect 2 would become. That's what I want out of Assassin's Creed 2. I don't need Mass Effect 2 level of good, but I'm like, the table is set. You'd better fucking serve me a good meal with Assassin's Creed 2. So it's coming, and my expectations are very, very high. So
They should
it
be.
better fucking deliver.
They should be.
telling
And
you
again,
now.
I'll say this: like I don't put 2 right up at the top. I also look at 2 and Brotherhood and Revelations kind of as one game for me because it's its own little trilogy, and then you get 3 kind of the same way you got Grand Theft Auto 3, then Vice City, San Andreas, and then 4. It's weird, but again, it's Ezio's story over the trilogy. Like I would say 3. No, I'll say 4. Odyssey and Syndicate are my top 3, and it's throughout the franchise for me. But like 2, I can go back and play it anytime because I feel the story is really strong. I feel the evolution of the game from 1 to 2 it feels like they took the game and just finished and continued to build and build and build on what 1 was in just 2 alone, in my opinion.
They'd better because I liked 1 and I'm like, all right, you fucking like I know maybe I sound like a dick right now, but you know what I feel? I feel like an executive at Ubisoft right now, and they just showed me like their build of Assassin's Creed, and I was like, good job, gang. I'm gonna be back in a year. You better have a really good game built on this now. Like that's what I feel like right now. I'm like, you have your engine. Your engine is good. Engine works. Now make it more fun. And I'll be back. So we'll get there. I'm telling y'all it's coming.
Let's go.
And I expect more. How in the fuck are we gonna score Assassin's Creed 1? What are we gonna, what year is it in?
It took place in 1191.
Yeah, 1191. So that's what we're gonna score it out of. So go ahead. If you're scoring Assassin's Creed 1 out of 1191, what would you score it?
I'll give it I'm gonna say 1020.
Oh fuck. Now I look like a dick. I'm not going that high. Fuck.
Again, I'm trying to score it on the love I had for it in 2000.
I get it.
That's where I come from, at least in it. Yeah.
I'll give it like 800. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10.
That's
like
fair.
It was good. It was fine. It was good. I want more. Oh, and because I know I'm going to get messages about it. No, I'm not playing any remakes or remasters or collector's versions or any. I'm playing basic bitch Assassin's Creed 2. Okay, that's how I like to do my reviews. I want to play the OG version.
And when I replay, I'm going to play the Ezio trilogy version on my Switch.
I'm just telling y'all right now, and it's going to be. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what it's all about. I don't know when. My February is mapped out. Most of my March is mapped out, but I promise you, before the year ends, I will have talked Assassin's Creed 2, and then we'll go from there. I am so much more on the side of Assassin's Creed than I was a month ago before I had played one.
You gave Assassin's Creed a lot of shit. And don't get me wrong, to everybody out there that gives Assassin's Creed shit now, I see it. I'm a guy who has played everything. I didn't like Mirage when it came out again. That was just, there was issues with the way the game build and everything I didn't like. But like, even for me, like, I'll admit, I didn't finish Shadows. I've played a good chunk of it, but just life gets in the way. And I just haven't found the desire to go back to play it. But like, I will replay Odyssey. I don't know how many times. I love that game. The early games I will replay 2. I will replay 3. I will replay 4. I will replay those as many times like I can, because again, I thought they were done brilliantly. But like, I love this trilogy, but I understand where the hate people get, because again, Origins created a giant shift in the game, and even the Syndicate and Unity, there was a lot of problems with those games when they first came out. Like,
I think
came out with,
part of the
especially Unity, partially broken.
Part of the thing with any of these franchises that get basically, because Assassin's Creed is like practically annualized. Like, it's not quite, but it's pretty close.
I think it's like every 2 years now. Like, since they went to the more open world RPG system with Origins, it's become like every second year. I think they dropped. It was Origins 2 years later. It was Odyssey 2 years later. It was Valhalla, and then a couple years. It's like 3 years to Shadows, but yeah.
But the thing with those types of games, and you can bunch like Call of Duty in with this conversation. You could bunch most sports games in with this conversation. On one hand, like, I get why it's so frustrating, because like, listen, I'm an MLB The Show fan. I like the WWE 2K games. I used to love NHL. I bought 25, but I buy one every few years. I get it. Like, I like some of those annualized franchises too. And it is frustrating when you feel like they're not as good as they could be if they'd make one every 4 or 5 years. That being said, like, they wouldn't be making them every 12 to 18 months if they weren't selling a shit ton of them, right? So there's obviously the fan base out there, and the bigger the fan base, the more vocal that fan base is. So I think part of the reason I feel like in a lot of ways Assassin's Creed has become like the Nickelback of gaming, where everyone's like, Assassin's Creed, what a piece of shit. But you know what? Every year it comes out, it sells. And every time Nickelback goes on tour, they fucking sell out their shows and people are buying tickets. So somebody out there is buying these fucking games.
Just like, and the Nickelback hate, I don't get it.
I like Nickelback. Fuck haters. I like Nickelback.
I do. I don't get the hate. I don't understand it.
On that, and that's like the point I wanted to make here, is that like 60 days ago, I was the guy who was like, Assassin's Creed. Oh, here come the Assassin's Creed fans playing their fucking same game for the 956th time. Derp, derp, derp. And now I've played one, and I'm like, holy fuck. It's like I accidentally listened to a Nickelback album, and I'm like, maybe I actually like these guys. And now I'm like, I gotta see. I'll see what their next album is like. Maybe I like these guys. I like Nickelback, and now maybe I like Assassin's Creed. Maybe I am an ass creator myself. We'll find out sometime in the next 11 and a half months. Andre, this episode's gone on long enough. I'll shut up. Get your plugs in, and we'll send this home. Go ahead. What else you got going on?
Yeah, so outside of talking to you about video games every once in a while, I actually review independent professional wrestling in where we live in Alberta. I work with our friend Mike the Ref over on Backbreaker Video. Me and my co-host AWS, we talk or show the Pop Spot, where we just review about all of indie wrestling we go to. We review Love Wrestling, Top Talent Pro Wrestling, CWE when they run through town, and the company I work for, Real Canadian Wrestling, which as of right now, so this show's coming out on the 21st. You can come and see Real Canadian Wrestling on January 24th in Edmonton, Alberta, at the Norwood Legion. Come see me ring announce, because I'll be up there ring announcing. You can see me do that on the 24th. You can find the tickets on Eventbrite, because I gotta give them a pop now because I work for them. So yeah, you can come see me there. And then also I do work over at our local establishment where I talk Marvel, which are actually would have been last week, but we did our 2026 year in preview, and we're going to be reviewing Wonder Man when it comes out, and we review all this stuff there. And I do it every Sunday on our local establishment. I do our Sunday morning sports stream at 9 a.m. ass time. For all y'all out there, we talk about just the week in sports, between football, hockey, English football, and any other sport we want to. F1 when the season's on, when I'm watching F1. We talk about all of it, and I absolutely love it. So come check that out, our local establishment, on Twitch and YouTube. And then, Backbreaker Video for all my stuff, reviewing independent professional wrestling. And then, Real Canadian Wrestling on Eventbrite.
There it is. There'll be links in the description, presuming that I got them. And remember to put them in, which is a big
send them to you right after.
Andre, this is like my third show today. I don't feel like podcasting anymore today. So we're going to end this, and I'm going to go and not talk to anyone until tomorrow. Thank you for doing this, buddy. And I don't know when, because I know I'm going to get out. I don't know. But sometime in the next 11 months, I'll tap you on the shoulder. We'll talk Assassin's Creed.
If you don't,
All right?
I'm going to pull my hidden blade.
All right, buddy. Take it easy, man.
Bye.
And that is going to do it for this week's episode. Audrey, thank you so much for giving me a call and talking some Assassin's Creed. And to every single one of you potential assassins listening to this as well, thank you so much for the support. Whether it's your first RTG or your 363rd, you rolled the dice on us. And that, my friend, makes you special. And not like the lame special that everybody is these days. I mean like old school fucking special. When you were actually... I was told my whole life I was fucking special. And I am. And special... are you? Anyways, thank you for listening to this. If you didn't hate it, leave us a good review, please. I'm not sure what they do, but I'm supposed to ask for them, and I like reading them. If you did hate it, maybe instead of leaving us a bad review, just go listen to something else, fuck off, and leave me alone. Or leave a bad review. Whatever. It's your life. Fucking do what you got to do. What else do I have to say? Oh yeah, patreon.com/rememberthegame. $3 a month is all it takes to get you started. You're voting on the games we cover. You're listening to tons of additional podcasts. Plus, Remember the Game ad-free. Plus, you're in our Discord with 1,400 other hot dogs talking about video games and stuff like that. Plus, you're DMing with me. Plus, you're suggesting games we cover. It's basically the greatest deal in the history of the universe. It is to be noted, though, beginning in 2026, I am skipping the last week of every month. There won't be any episodes of the show, except for the Blankies are going live next Thursday. But other than that, the last week of the month now, I will be dedicating just to Patreon-exclusive gameplay streams and taking time to get caught up on games for the show. Appreciate everybody's understanding. So if you're a patron, come by the gameplay streams and say hi. But there won't be a Remember the Game next week. Don't forget, though, or don't worry, though. We will be back in February. I got a big month lined up for February. We're going to kick things off with Bionic Commando for the NES. Finally talking about that with my pal David Ray. For the week of Valentine's Day, I wanted to do a romantic game. So after years of hearing about how I reviewed the wrong Aladdin, when we did Aladdin on the SNES and everyone was like, you should do Genesis, we are going to do Aladdin for the Sega Genesis. That's coming up in the middle of February. Sorry, there's a giant moose right outside of my window looking right at me. Fucking Canada. What a Canadian thing I just said. But it's true. It's looking right at me. That's distracting as fuck. Well, I mean, it's like, 100 feet away, but it's still staring right at my house. Anyway, yeah, so Bionic Commando to start the year, or the month, then Aladdin for the Genesis, and then we'll wrap February up with Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, because that won a Patreon poll, and I owes it all to you, okay? I'm going to thank some patrons and get out of here. I can't think of anything else I need to plug. Twitch.tv/rememberthegame if you want to come by and say hi. Not remember the game. I'm on there whenever I can, just playing Arc Raiders, or I've been working on trying to beat Battletoads for the NES and stuff like that. And, yeah, that's it. Good stuff. Thank you, everybody. Talk to you on the next one. Cheers, so long, goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I couldn't puke up all the content I churn out every week without all of your support. The following people are at the senior executive vice president level or higher. Fuck, why does it always crack there? At patreon.com/rememberthegame, and as such, I am contractually obligated to say all your names as quickly as I can. So we're just going to go oldest to newest this week. We're going to keep things simple because I got 3 shows to do today. A huge thank you to... I imagine that like the Finn Balor music, the big inhale to start. Remember the Game Hall of Famer, Slick Motherfucking Rick, Makeshift Mellow Magic Money, Sharonic, Jane Nasty 15, Jort King Keegs, Dissect That Dan, Doug Dorn, Chris Fleury, Andrew Wright, Jordan, Eldest Millennial, Little Bunny Fufu 89, Angry Ticks, Dave Thompson, No One Cares, Scott Brooks, Aaron Lawson, JSK Fusick, A-Town Morgan, Zane Donovan, Ryan Kinchin, Mike Maloney, G9PSX, Mercury 869, Wolfgang, Darren, Andy Hudson, Doogie, Wolf Magic 21, Johnny from Virginia, Squints, Dean Donian, Jeff Bergeron, Randy Barrage, Just a Fish, Donald McDonald, Holmes, Zach Shepard, Captain Black Silver, Triple 3, Chugger 22, Discount Psyop, Madam Nutsitch, DBXJ, Steve Dulk, Standard Ass Brian, Mizuru, Churist Dr. Mario, Tyler, Phil Lencher, Joe the Sandman, Northern, Jake Carter, Laces Out, Dan, Growlywog, Beaver Boy, Thomas Smith, Leroy Westrich, Dark Squall, Rush's Dog Walker, Stud Still Smash, Matt Babineau, Gabe, Fuzzy99, Decoy Man, a dude named Adam, Wyatt the Surgeon who isn't a surgeon Row, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Scary Terry, Storm Beagle, Archangel Otaku, Earl, Hagel Waffle, High Plains Drifter, Jimothy, Oroku Saki's Garner, General Fury, I am the very model of a modern Major General, Max Legroom, James Juan Francesco, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Drugs are bad, okay, Sam Carpenter, Donnie the Dude, Walter, Sleeper, Hit Squeak Nuts, Isaias, Hits Meals, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Caveman Lance, Christian Gabriel, Maverick Marty, Musty Beetle, Graham Kennedy, Timothy Sabrinsky, My Left Nut, Beef Dingleberry, Quiet Place Queen, Christopher Britt, Zamatos, Big the Cat, Tadpole, T-Bear 87, Maverick, Brandon DeZeba, Kia Pup, Monstrous, the Boner, AB Killen, Works for Me, Mild Oatmeal, Ted Explosion, Ryan Perry, Alex R, Please Refrain from Tasting the Knob, Scotty J, Just Car Prank, Zombie XE, Bartman Forever, Darth Skywalter, Postman, Nick Creature, Adam Martinet, The Big Deal, Ryan 4664, Kevin Monroe, Can't Destroy Her, Pee Wee Squitters, Nordak, Leroy Jenkins, Lord Palmerston, Beers of War, Because 19, Infinity Rage, Marcus Mendoza, Lord Logron von Hugendom II, Roger Staubach, Spool Cleaner, Lucas Shaman, Frosty Bear, Sour Goat Face, Faded Sufferance, Chris Hill isn't scared, that could be anyone's ass, B Money, Penguin Milk, Fallen Snow Kiku, The Supreme Chozorizo, You Son of a Bitch, Why? Tell Me Why, E-Man Trucker, Mark Sneed, Christopher Lee Williams, Shoeboxers, Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed Mario Galaxy, Jay Callahan, Robbie Air, Brian Richmond, Blobby, Smith, Bula, Matt Zeus, Too Much Karma, Mopey36, Cesar, Fill Up My Mouth with Farts, Liquor Like Luigi, Cody Thompson, JR Bob Dobbs, Bob Sacamano, Mr. Jabroni, Big Daddy Randall, Ida Yellow, Ryan Whitcomb, Flinny123. Stopping to swallow some saliva there. I know it's gross, but I'm just telling you the truth. That's what's happening here. Flinny123, Justin Tate, Lotus, Thrill Ho, Toby OP, Scotty McGee, Alex McIntyre, Spider Cat, Eric Hopewells, Darbles, Generic Name 238, Newman. Oh, I got it. Newman. I should have read that better. Newman. David Schroeder, Moncal, Diablo, Spartan, Justin Blair, McCracken, Wilco, VOS Rager, Brother Retro, Conebread, Ocarina of Tim Rocks, Daniel Cook, you heard about Pluto, Desirath, Super Cyan, Safarioth, Hello Mr. Thompson, MacGyver88, Travis Sanders, Lord Salazar, Flater Flav, Erotic Onion Ring, Captain Asbury Juice, Doogie Bowser MD, Shut Up, Topher Love, Thunder Leaps, Legendberry, Jinxie425, Akira's Network, Horror Wars Podcast, Jeff Leopard, Rob Lindsay, Game Boy Gannon, Fancy Store-Bought Dirt, Steaming Wooly, Botfucker, Mikey Hag, Shane's World, Devin Collins, Cannon Fodder Games, Trooper Galactics, Exotic Chaotic, Just James, Spooky Dookie, Frank Preeves, The Okayest of Muffins, Landy Turquoise, Siegfried, Tyler Patchell, Handsome Major Angus McZongo Esquire, Raph is my favorite turtle, not Donnie, Lindsay Lee, Jonathan Breer, Redline Arrow Drones, fuck, I was doing so good, damn it. Jonathan Breer and Redline Arrow Drone, double secret probation for ruining my shoutouts. I was doing so good, and then you fucking names came up. George Swan, King Tiki Tiki, The $100 Kid, Ted Michaels, Chris Nethercutt, Davis Feith, Carl Not Garl, Amanda Hugginkiss, Tim Maverick, Queer Al Yankerdick, Self High Five, and Governor Blank. Thank you all so much for the support. I appreciate all of you. That moose is sitting right there. I'm going to try to get a picture of it to put in the Discord. For those of you that are like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm going to put it in the Remember the Game Discord. I just got to go downstairs to get a better picture of it. Fucking creepy as fuck. I think it's a fucking beast. Anyways, thank you for the support, everybody. Talk to you later.